Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. I remember the day my life began to change, leading to what I have become today. It was a Friday afternoon when it all started. I had no idea my day would be anything but normal, and what happened next was completely unexpected. With 10 years of experience at the company, I never thought it would happen to me. That afternoon, they made an announcement. They were letting go of some employees. "When your name is called, please come to the boss's office," they said, "and we will let you know whether you still have a job or if we have to let you go." When they started announcing names, mine was the second one called. I was totally shocked. I thought maybe I was overthinking it, that they would keep me because of my long tenure. I won't say I was surprised at how quickly I was called into the office. As I approached, my boss said, "Please come in," and asked me to sit down. Then he began, "Matthias, I know you've been here for 10 years now. This isn't easy for me to say. I wish we could keep you, but we have to let you go. I've written a letter of recommendation for you, which you're welcome to take. You can make copies before you leave. We'll be giving you your 2 weeks paycheck for vacation, as you're entitled to it. And your last paycheck will arrive next Friday. It will include the 2 weeks vacation pay." "I'm sorry it has come to this," he continued. "You've been an excellent worker, but these cuts are necessary, and I'm sorry you were chosen. You're the second person I've had to let go today, after Susan, who's been a great secretary and has been here longer than you. But these cuts have to be made." He wished me the best in my future endeavors, shook my hand, and said, "Good luck." I headed to the storage closet for boxes, noticing there were extra ones since many were being let go. In the storage room, I grabbed a couple of boxes, offering one to another person being released. It was Julie, my personal secretary. She was crying, unsure of her next job and burdened with children to care for. Her husband had left her, and while he paid child support, she needed to work to afford her bills. I tried to comfort her, sharing my own uncertainty about how to tell my girlfriend I'd lost my job. I went back to my office, grabbed my packed box, and left the building. Handing my security pass to the officer and the front desk, I knew I would never return. As I slowly walked to my car, I began thinking about places to send my resume, hoping to find another job. I got in the car and drove back to my apartment. There, I started searching the internet for job opportunities. Days passed, and although I got interviews, no one was hiring. The common response was, "We're not hiring at this time, but we'll keep your resume on file." After 3 weeks, having paid all my bills, I was broke and desperate for a job. Another week went by without any job prospects. I refused to take a low-paying job, knowing it wouldn't cover my bills, risking homelessness. A few days later, I came across a job listing for models, no experience required, with everything provided. I was hesitant. Modeling wasn't my first choice. But I was running out of options and knew I couldn't afford my rent without a job. My girlfriend, busy with college and her expenses, wasn't an option for support. So I called the number in the ad. A woman, Mrs. Winters, answered. I expressed my interest in the modeling job and asked for an interview. She agreed to meet in 30 to 45 minutes. I quickly showered, dressed in a nice suit, put on some cologne, grabbed my keys, and drove to the address she provided. Arriving at the location, I was shocked. The place was filled with mannequins dressed in women's clothing, dresses, skirts, and blouses, with no men's attire in sight. This sight made me hesitant. Slowly, I enter the store. A bell sounds, signaling someone has come in. I see a woman approaching. She's about 5'6", probably 140 pounds, wearing a black suit jacket, black skirt, white blouse, and brunette hair styled femininely. She's in 4-inch heels. She greets me. "Hello, Matthias. Welcome to my store. Now please follow me." I follow her to her office, and we sit down to discuss the position I'm applying for. She starts, "You understand that we'll pay you $150,000 annually for this job, and there's a bonus check at the beginning. But first, we need to make a portfolio, unless you already have one of the clothes you will be wearing." I'm confused. I mention not seeing any male clothing. She leans back, grinning. "No, there are no men's clothes here. We're launching a new line type of men's clothing and need models to display them for our internet and store sales." I look at her, incredulous. Do you want me to wear a dress and a skirt? I say, refusing. I get up and leave, not sure about all of this. I've thought about cross-dressing before, but those were just thoughts. Doing it for real is a step too far. At least that's what I thought at the time. Back at my apartment, I resume job searching, adamant about not wearing a dress or skirt. Then my girlfriend calls, wanting to come over. I tell her it's not a good time. I've just lost a job opportunity. She recalls my interview with Mrs. Winters. I explain that the job involved modeling dresses and skirts. Melissa jokes that I'd look cute in a dress, but I dismiss the idea. Melissa suggests I reconsider, offering to help me prepare for the role. She warns that if I lose this job, I can't stay with her and my options are limited. My parents and sisters won't take me in, and I risk homelessness. Understanding her point, I agree to call Mrs. Winters back. I hang up and immediately call Mrs. Winters to express my interest in the job. Again, Mrs. Winters says, "How may I help you?" She has caller ID and knows it's me calling. She also knows I was supposed to call because she investigated me for hiring. She's aware that I lost my job and might lose my apartment since I can't pay the rent on time. I tell Mrs. Winters, "I've reconsidered your offer. Is the job still available?" She replies that other applicants have applied, but none have been hired. If you still want the job, come down immediately, sign the contracts, and bring your portfolio if you have one. Otherwise, we'll prepare it here. Also, our models don't have body hair, so please shave before coming. I agree, asking for an hour to prepare, and she gives me an hour and a half. I go to the bathroom, get a razor and shaving cream, and start shaving in the shower. I shave my legs, arms, underarms, chest, and face. After ensuring all hair is removed, I rinse the tub to clear any remaining hair. Once dried and dressed in dress pants and a shirt, I leave for Mrs. Winters' store. Arriving, a bell rings as I enter. Mrs. Winters greets me, and we head to her office to finalize the job and receive the promised bonus check. She knows I need this job to avoid losing my apartment and becoming homeless. In her office, she hands me the contract. As I hesitate, she presses, "Do you want the job or not?" Feeling the pressure, I sign without reading, not the smartest thing. She then asks about my portfolio. I admit I don't have one since I've never been a model. We start picking clothes for the portfolio photos, including various outfits, and then head to the undergarments department. She explains I'll need to wear different items for the photos. Confused, but aware I need to comply, I follow her instructions. We gather the clothes and move to a stage area with a curtain and rack. Mrs. Winters instructs me on how to wear the garments for a seamless look. Despite my confusion, I follow her instructions. Again, I tell Mrs. Winters that I have done what she asked and I'm sitting in the chair waiting for her. We're still on stage, separated only by a curtain. She comes in with a box containing forms. She applies glue to the first one and holds it against me with 15 minutes each. After that, she looks at me and says, "Perfect, that's going to work just fine." She helps me put on my first bra. Then we move on to the nylons. Mrs. Winters shows me how to roll them down with my hand and slowly point my toe as I put my foot in each one. I take them up to my knees, rolling them up as I do it, then pull them up to my waist and adjust them for comfort. After that, she asks about my shoe size for heels. I tell her I wear a size 10. "Excellent," she says. "You'll need a size 11. Confused, I ask why. She explains that men's shoe sizes are usually smaller than women's, so women often wear a size larger. She then brings me 3-inch and 4-inch heels to try. First, she hands me the 3-inch heels and an outfit. After I put it on, she asks me to step out on the stage for pictures. Walking in heels isn't easy, but she instructs me to walk heel to toe. Gradually, I get better at it and at posing in different outfits. She even teaches me to take shorter steps and walk as if on a straight line, which makes my hips swing. We go through about half of the outfits when she hands me the 4-inch heels. I put them on and start modeling more clothing. This time, I have no problem walking in heels the way she instructed. Finally, we finish taking all the pictures. Mrs. Winters then tells me I need to pick out 10 different outfits. She suggests it would be more appropriate to wear women's clothing during this time. I express my concern about returning home in these clothes and how my apartment manager might react. Mrs. Winters assures me that by the time I get home, the manager will be gone. She suggests using a drop slot for my rent check to avoid any issues. In the end, she hands me my paycheck and a bonus, congratulating me on my new job and mentioning that I now have a portfolio. While I still was there, I began to pick out one of the outfits I'm going to wear home. I'm not happy about it, but I know it's my only option now that I have these temporary additions. I start thinking about what I will tell my girlfriend. That's when I picked out the blue dress. As I got ready to change, she commented on my choice of underwear, suggesting it wouldn't look right under the dress. She was right. Then she asked about the male clothes I arrived in. I planned to take them home and wear them again after 2 weeks. She reminded me that I signed a contract to model, so it's best to follow all instructions. Realizing the seriousness of the situation, I acknowledged that I must give away my men's clothes at home, as per her directive. After dressing in the chosen outfit, she handed me bags of new clothing and assured me my wardrobe would continue to grow. She then allowed me to go home and mentioned looking forward to starting Phase 2 tomorrow. Confused about what Phase 2 entailed, I left with the bags and put them in my car. I realized I was still wearing the heels she provided and returned to ask about them. She informed me that they, along with another pair, were now mine, and that my male clothes and shoes would be gone. She promised more footwear like flats and boots in time. I returned to my car and drove back to my apartment. It was night, so I wasn't concerned about the manager seeing me. Once inside, I called my girlfriend to explain everything, maintaining our commitment to openness and honesty. She was surprised and expressed a desire to see the temporary additions herself. I told her they would be there for 2 weeks. She asked what I'd sleep in, and I said nothing. She disagreed and offered to bring some of her nightgowns for me. Confused, but knowing her well, I accepted her offer. Before I know it, she's knocking at my door. When I open it, she's shocked to see me wearing a blue dress and 3-inch heels. She notices my hair and suggests that I style it in a very feminine way. I think Mrs. Winters would be pleased with a more feminine hairstyle. That's when Melissa looks at me and asks why I'm not wearing any makeup. I tell Melissa I don't need makeup. She insists that I do and plans to schedule a salon appointment for me the next day in the late afternoon. She says I'll get hair extensions and a color change to strawberry blonde, transforming from a brunette. Surprised, I ask her if she's serious. She assures me that I'll look great when I return to work after the salon visit. She adds that my fingernails and toenails will also be done. Melissa then tells me she needs to go home to prepare for her college class the next morning. She asks me to update her about my day tomorrow. Feeling ready for a change, I decide to wear one of the nightgowns my girlfriend brought for me. I set my alarm early to shave, wanting a smooth body. I'm excited to wear pantyhose again, and luckily I have a new pair from Miss Winters. Now I have about 12 pairs of underwear and 12 matching bras. I wake up and go to my wardrobe and start removing shirts, pants, suits, and other male clothing. It doesn't take long to fill 2 garbage bags. I return to the kitchen for more bags to empty my dresser. Surprisingly, it only takes 1 bag. I realize I need to clear off my dresser too, removing male colognes, jewelry, and watches. In the bathroom, I discard items I no longer need. Once the bags are full, I dress in a red dress and the same heels from last night. I grab a store bag from the kitchen for my wallet, phone, and car keys. I leave my wallet and phone behind, focusing on taking the bags to the car. I haven't hung my new clothes in the closet or arranged them in the drawers yet, but I plan to do that tonight. After loading the car, I grab the bag with my keys and lock my apartment door. I head downstairs, get into my car, and drive back to the store. Surprisingly, Mrs. Winters is already there, even though I'm early. She's pleased with my punctuality and asks me to follow her to her office again. I'm unsure what this meeting will entail, but I'm about to find out as I walk into Mrs. Winters' office. She tells me, "That's a lovely dress you're wearing. Excellent choice today." However, she seems surprised I didn't go with 4-inch heels. I guess you'll learn in time that it's important to have things that match your outfit. She then suggests that since I'm wearing black shoes, a black dress would be more suitable. She quickly finds the perfect black dress for me. Before I know it, I'm in the changing room trying on the dress. As I step out, she comments on how well my shoes go with the dress. I mention to her that I don't have red shoes. "Well, we will make sure you have red high heels today," she replies. She emphasizes that we have many tasks to accomplish today, including a legal name and gender change. She hands me the legal documents for the name and gender change petitions. I sign them, realizing it's the best thing I could do. Mrs. Winter then prepares to take me shoe shopping. She's excited to hear about my girlfriend's plans, including a salon appointment. Mrs. Winter seems impressed by my girlfriend's supportive attitude. She then informs me that my endocrinologist appointment is set, and I will be starting my treatments. I agree, understanding the importance of being feminine. At the shoe department, Mrs. Winter selects a pair of 4-inch red heels for me and gives me a bag with my new dress and shoes. She tells me she's looking forward to seeing my new look and reassures me that the paperwork will be taken care of. After leaving Mrs. Winter, I head to the endocrinologist's office, where I fill out the necessary paperwork. The doctor administers the prescribed treatments, and I schedule my weekly appointments for the next month. I start to worry about Melissa's reaction to my legal name change, which Mrs. Winter assures will be completed by Friday. Reflecting on my situation, I realize how much my life has changed since starting this job. Secretly, I wanted to be a girl for a long time, but having it actually happen, and also fast too, was a lot. Returning home, I find Melissa already there. She instructs me on proper etiquette, such as the correct way to sit in a dress. She explains the importance of smoothing out the dress to avoid wrinkles. It's clear I have a lot to learn about my new lifestyle. Let's begin to sit properly in various situations. On the couch, you do not sit down the same way as when you sit at a chair at the dining table or when you get in or out of the car. You will see how different it is. Now let's practice. Stand up and sit down again like I told you. We're going to do this 25 times for each different situation to sit down the proper way. I even learned the proper way to get into a car and get out of my car. She said, "That's good. We have about an hour, so let's work on your walk. It's very good, but I want to put a book on your head this time as you walk. You cannot let the book fall. Okay?" I tell her okay. So while I'm standing, she hands me a hardcover book and tells me to put it on my head. I begin to walk, and then the book falls. She says, again, I walk exactly like Miss Winters has taught me. The first couple of times, the book falls off my head, and I have to restart again. We do this about 25 times, too. After that, she says I can rest. She then looks at me and asks, "Where's your purse?" I don't have one. Then she asks me what I am carrying my stuff in. I show her the store bag. She begins to giggle, can't believe I am using a store bag as my purse, and thinks it's funny. She says it's a good thing she brought another purse for me. She hands me a black over-the-shoulder purse and tells me to put everything I have in it. She's surprised that I don't really have anything to put in it, as all she sees is my wallet, my phone, and my keys. She says you need to have some makeup in your purse because you always need to touch up your makeup when you are out in public. You always need Kleenex tissues in your purse too, and you must always have pads. Always make sure you have an extra pair of nylons too. I question her about the nylons. She explains it's because you never know when you are going to get a run in the ones you're wearing, and you need a backup pair. She asks if I know how to put them on. I tell her yes, Miss Winter taught me. She emphasizes it's important not to put runs in your pantyhose as it's an embarrassing sight for others. After telling me all that, she says it's time to leave. We will take her car because I don't know where the salon is. With that said, I begin to head towards her car. She opens the passenger side door for me to let me get in, ensuring that I first set my bottom on the seat inside the car, like she told me, and then swing my legs in. She compliments me on doing it right. She then asks if I need help to fasten my seatbelt, but I tell her I can do it. She gets in her side of the car, and we head towards the hair salon. At the hair salon, I am reluctant again, but I know I have to do this. I get out of the car, swinging my legs out first, and begin walking towards the front door of the salon. Melissa opens the door for me. I'm starting to like the treatment Melissa is giving me, but I'm afraid to say anything in case she stops. I decide not to say anything at all. Melissa goes to the counter and says we are here for Chandler. Mrs. Chandler, hearing them, yells back she will be with us in a minute. She tells us to call her Janet. I remember that I still haven't told Melissa what my name is going to be, but she's about to find out. I am waiting to see her expression when she hears it. Janet comes to the front of the salon and says we can follow her. She tells me to sit in the chair. Then she goes over to the side and begins to discuss with Melissa everything that is going to happen to me. After Melissa tells Janet everything, she tells me she will be back in about 2 hours and that I need to follow all the instructions given by Janet. I begin to wonder what is in store for me. Then Janet asks me, "What name do you want me to call you?" Melissa is about to leave, but when she hears Janet's question, she has to know what my name is. My name was picked out by my boss. I can tell she is dying to know what my name is going to be. Thanks for watching. Check out Patreon if you want to have early access to the other parts. If not, it will be online in a couple of days.